Right there. What happened last week? You remember? We Jacob conjured up some kind of an idea for animal aphrodisiacs. Remember, something to mate, something to cause the black sheep to breed, and the other ones not, and the spotted goats and the spotted cattle. All of them were going to breed, and the other ones became weak. And really, we talked about the boss of the plains. Brother Euless, you ever heard of the boss of the plains? You know what a boss of the plains is? You're old enough to know what a boss of the plains is. No? Well, who was the first boss of the plains in this whole area? Remember, he was last week. His name was Samuel Bishop. Bishop, California was named after him. The boss of the plains was a notary public, usually, and he had a ranch right out when you're getting ready to leave the San Joaquin Valley out there and go up the ridge route. He had a ranch right out there. And there was a lot of ranches, big rancherias and Spanish land grants around here. And at the end of the year, everybody would round up cattle. And the boss of the plains was supposed to be an honest man. He couldn't be paid off or bought. And he would, when they would round up, the rodeo was called a rodeo. That was a roundup. They were called rodeos. And they would get out there and they would mark the cattle and they would brand the cattle. And the boss of the plains, when they'd run him by him, he would say, that's Tajon Ranch. That's Samuel Bishop's. That's Loving or McKenzie or whatever. That's who owned that cattle. He would look at the cow, he would look at the calf, and the breedings and the marks that he had memorized in his mind, that he would say, these are who the cattle were. Okay? And the boss of the plains, there were no... that was the buck stopped there. That was it. Now, Jacob is using some type of formula, supposedly that an angel told him how that he could make these cattle breed. And he would take these striped rods and put them in the water troughs or whatever, and it would cause the black sheep. You know, there's only like 1 in 1,000 or 1 in 100 black sheep. But he was getting a whole lot of them. Well, old Laban was a shyster, and we're going to find that out tonight maybe. We're going to really see the whole story on Laban. He was a sneak and a conniver and a thief and probably a gambler, and maybe even a ladies' man. Yes.
And a devil worshiper.
What?
And a devil worshiper.
Yes. We realized last week also that when he divined, it was from Nahash. Nahash is a snake. That's certain. That's the serpent. That's old. That's Pythona in Greek. That is a great snake. That is the devil himself. That's how he got his information. He was a idolater, and God had to get him out of there. He had to get him away, and his daughters were idolaters. And the most prominent of his daughters that were idolaters, basically, was the one that Jacob loved so much, Rachel. Well, we'll get into that just a little bit. Well, he thought that he would put the rods out and the cattle would mate, and they'd make the ones that were unusual the strongest, and they would produce offspring, and they did. But it was the boss of the plains deciding who was what. It was God himself. It wasn't the sticks. It wasn't the rods. It was the Lord himself that was watching after Jacob. 31 and verse 2, Wayar. Yaakov et Panay. Panay really means the nose or the very face, okay? Prosopon is a Greek word. It means face to face, nose to nose, okay? And in Genesis 1 and 2 it says, Spirit God went out over the faces of the deep. Faces, the surface, the face. When you're looking at somebody, look at their face, basically. Okay, you look at their face. Panay, Lavan, Wihane, Anenu, Yemol, Kitmol, Shiloshon. And he kept on seeing Jacob. And that word et there is what? What is that, et? Et? That's a sign of the direct object. What is the Greek equivalent to that? Going to get used to this one of these days. Ace. Extension and limitation of thought of verbal action. Action is going that way. That's what it means. Action is going there. Okay? And he kept on seeing, and here is the word, the root of this word, roa. That is where we get the word shepherd, to watch after. Roa. Okay? And he kept on seeing, or watching Jacob, the faces. The faces. Expressions. The expressions. How many expressions do you have? Smiling ones? Sad one? Flatliner? You know, whatever. You have different expressions, don't you? Well, all of Laban's expressions had changed, it says here. Let's look. Laban. What does Laban mean? Whitey. What does Jacob mean? To follow the heel, like a healer dog, okay? Laban, and behold, Wehene, and behold, pay attention. It was not with him like yesterday, and third day, and 3 days ago. His expressions, the expressions on his face were different, and they were not good. His expressions were not good. He looked at him with an evil look. You ever had anybody look at you with an evil eye? Maybe it's not safe to say something. Wyomer. Davar. Why do we say Davar there in the name of Jehovah? Because that's what they referred to Jehovah in the Old Testament. They referred to the name Jehovah as the Word. In the New Testament, it's Hologos. The Word in the New Testament is what? Jesus. Okay? So that's who this is. Jesus. El Yaakov. Shuv El Eretz. Avotika. Yuli Molatika. We ye Imak. And he kept on saying Jehovah. Jehovah kept on comforting Jacob. He kept on comforting Jacob. El Jacob. See that word El there? Sometimes that means God, but right here it's a preposition. Page 39 and 40 in Brown, Driver, and Briggs. Unto Jacob. Remember, one Hebrew word may mean many things. You have to, according to the syntax. 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 We get a word sentence out of that. Sentence. According to the sentence, we know how it's used. Okay? In Greek, our Greek language is so much larger, such a gigantic language. They have one word, or one thing may have 40 different words for it. Well, not that many, but 5 or 6. Okay? 5 or 6. Okay? And he said, Jehovah unto Jacob, return. Return. That's in masculine singular, call imperative. You return unto the land. See that word El there? There's unto again. Unto the land of your fathers, Avotika, the land of your the land belonging to your fathers, okay, and to your Ulimolatika, and to your relation, and to your birth people, the people you were birthed with. And I shall be, and I shall become. That's the word there. There's the word, the name Jehovah comes from right there. That's the root of it. First person construct, cal imperfect, Haya. That's where it comes from. That's where the name Jehovah. And I shall become with you. And I shall become with you always. I shall always be with you. Okay? And the Lord is with us all today. If you're doing the Lord's will, He's right there in your back pocket all the time. He can get you down them 11,000-foot mountains, brother. Even if you wear your toes down going out and going down the mountain. Vayishlach Yaakov Vayikra Le Rachel Yuleliah Hasadeh El Sono. All right. And he kept on sending for Jacob, that is. And he kept on calling. Yoo-hoo, Rachel, yoo-hoo, Leah. He kept on calling them. See, third person masculine singular, cow, wow, consecutive, imperfect. He kept on doing this. He sent all over. He got them all rounded up, Rachel and Leah. Hasadeh, Hasadeh. Look at that word Hasadeh. The word ha on the front of it is what? That's a definite article. That's a definite article. That's a pointer. That's describing. Ha, Elohim, means the God. All right? Ha, the var, is the Word. Like in the New Testament where it says, in beginning was ho logos, the Word. That's the Jehovah. Okay? Unto the field. The word field there means the damp place. The place that has moisture, dew in the morning. That grass will grow. And they were out there, and Leah had her tent, and Rachel had a tent. And Jacob would go, I think that he probably went to Rachel's tent almost every night when he wasn't preoccupied with the other women, because they fought over him. But his home was with Rachel. That's where he loved. That's the woman that he loved. Okay, and each of them had tents, and their tents were out there in the meadow. Isn't that beautiful meadows up there in those high meadows up there, brother? Beautiful meadows. You would never believe some of the real desolate and high above the timber line and everything, and you walk into a green meadow, a green meadow. This is the Hasadeh, the green meadows. The meadows where there's dampness and where maybe streams are running. It's beautiful to see, be in the high mountains and just see a stream originate right there. Right there. That's where it begins. Right there. That's what it means here. It means moisture. The word breast is from this. A nursing mother's breast is what it's talking about here. Shad, Shaddai, Shad. This is all from that. Shaddai, Sadah. El Sonal, unto the flock. This flock here is the sheep and the goats. These are the small cattle, okay? It's the zones, the small cattle, the sheep and the goats. Wyomer, Lahen, Roeh, Anoki, Et Panei, Aveken, Ki, Enenu, Ele, Kitmol, Shiloh Sham, Wilohe, Abi, Haya, Imadi. And he kept on saying unto them, to them. See that lament on the front of it, that L-looking thing there? That whip, as it is spoken of in Hebrew, that lament. That's a preposition, and then hen, that's them, okay? That's like a third personal pronoun. Seeing, masculine singular called participle. That's the word roe, that's the word shepherd. Comes from right there. That's the root of the word shepherd. Page 906 in Brown, Driver, and Briggs, and page 1157 in Kohler and Baumgartner. I could give you a whole lot more of them there also, but you can go look at those. There they are right there. I mean, that's Brown, Driver, and Briggs, the second one under in front of Sharon there. Seeing I, Anoki, et is what? The sign of the direct object, the direction to go in there. Seeing that the face of your father, I saw the face of your father, I looked at the face of your father, my eyes looked at his expressions of your father. Avikin. All right, now what does the word father mean? That's Greek right there, pater. Okay? We got our word padre out of that. We got our word paternal out of that. We got our word paterfamilia out of that in Latin. Paterfamilia. Okay, paterfamilia. The father of the family, the father. Now here in Hebrew, it's like this. This is what it comes from, the first two letters in the Hebrew alphabet. And the aleph in Hebrew means what? The aleph. Aleph. What does it mean? Head. Okay? So let's look and see what father means. Father means head. And what is Beth? House. The head of the house. That's the father. Now, it's Abba. 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 Say Abba. 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 Okay? Now, the Hebrews, when a child begins to make noises, it'll be like Abba, 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 Abba. And they said, look at there. He is calling for his daddy. Not mama, but daddy. Abba, 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 Abba. Okay? That's what the Hebrew mind said. He's calling for his father. Okay? Calling for his father. I see the expressions, the different faces of your father, because that word K there, see, ki, 472, not is, and we have a little negation there, little negation, ayin, ayinu, ele, unto me, like yesterday, like before, like other days. And the third day ago, 3 days ago. And God. We Elohi. We Elohi. And the God of my father became, all right, unto me. He became. Who do you think did it? Which one is the becoming one? Jesus appeared to him. That's who appeared to him. John 1:14 is the fulfillment of all of the Jehovah titles. Kailogos sarxageneto, and the Word flesh he became, and he dwelt among us. All right, and that's just where it comes from. That Hebrew right there. You take John 1:1, John 1:14, John 1:18, and the Jehovah Witness doctrine is done for. It's gone forever. They cannot stand it, because it tells you very plainly who it is. The whole Old Testament, every time it comes to the word became there, Hayah, we're talking about the becoming one. Remember, that's the root of the name Jehovah. The becoming one. And in John 1:1 it says, in beginning, kept on being the becoming one, the Jehovah. And the Jehovah kept on being an inseparable part of the Godhead, because Jehovah kept on being God. And the Jehovah there is talking about Jesus. That's who it is. And then Kailogos sarxageneto, and the Word and the Jehovah flesh he became, and he dwelt among us. And then in John 1:18 it says, no one has seen God at any time. The only begotten God, and that's what he is. He's not a God. The only begotten God, he has led himself out of eternity into space and time in the person of Jesus Christ. That's it. By the way, that's going to be on the front page of DiscoverTheWordWithDrJim.com. You're going to see that pretty soon. We're writing that up. It'll be on there. By the way, if you would like to go study a little bit about the world that was, one of my teachers, Dr. Conrad Nathan Glover, we put him up there. He's up there. You can go under the Audio Bible Study Directory, go over there in Jim's Hall of Fame, and then look under the 11th sermon of his on the world that was, and he'll tell you all about eternity and everything that happened before Adam. On there. Really good. That was one of my teachers. Dr. Conrad Nathan Glover, C.N. Glover. (31) and verse 6. Wa'atena. Ye daten. Ki, Bikol, Kochi, Abati, Et, Avikan. And you guys perfectly understand. You girls perfectly understand. That's what it says right there. And you, we atena, and you, in this word is a conjunction which is we, the wow on the front of it. And then we have the side of the direct object in there, et. And the sign of the direct object there has a suffix, which is you all, second person feminine plural. Okay? All of that is in that little word right there. Now I'm not cramming all the stuff down your throat at one time, but it is there. I mean, every now and then I'll unleash it on you just a little bit. Yeda 10. Second person feminine plural, Cal perfect. You girls completely understand. All right? It comes from yada. Yada. You girls completely understand because you've been with that rascal. Because key, page 472, see that word key there? Because, with all, or in all, be is the preposition, page 88, and then call is, it means all, okay? Call means all, remember that. Because in all of my strength, kochi, in all of my strength, avadti, I have served, I have slaved. That comes from aved, which means a servant or a slave. First person construct, cal perfect. I have slaved, sign of direct object, for your daddy, your father, the father of your house. Okay? This is, I'm not trying to scare you with all this stuff, but every now and then I just kind of unfold every one of those words just a little bit. 31 and verse 7. Jacob's address to his wives about their father, and then they have something to say. This is going to really tell us a lot about Laban. Okay? Wa'aviken, Hetel, Be, we ha hileth, et, Mashkurti, Aseret, Monim, Wilo, Natanel, Elohim, Lehara, Imadi. And your father of the house. All right? And your father, all right? We are Vikan, and your father. He has cheated for himself. Look at that word hithel there. See, that's like a middle voice in Greek. He has for himself cheated in me. Everything that we had, every time I made a contract, the bar, remember what the word the bar means? That's a contract. Every time I made a contract with your father, he cheated me. Every time. And has changed, third person master, hithel, perpi, he has changed for himself at my wages. All right? Mashkuti. Mistos in Greek, mistos. He has changed my wages. Aseret. Aseret means what, Brother Roger? 10. Aseret. 10 manim, times. And not, wilo, and not allowed him set. All right? Has allowed him to do anything wrong. Nitana. It is third person masculine singular, and the suffix is third person masculine singular. Not he has allowed him to set Elohim to do evil with me. In other words, God, Elohim, is protecting me. Elohim. Elohim means what? Elohim. What does Elohim mean? Now, Jehovah, okay, hold on. Jehovah means the Savior God. That's the Savior. That's our covenant-keeping God. That's Jehovah. But Elohim is another aspect of God. Elohim is like the Godhead. Okay, Brother Roger?
So it's plural.
It's plural. Eim on the end of it. El is God. It's the very powerful creating God. This is all the world has a creator. Even the Aborigines. Even the people down in South America, they know that there is a creator out there. And it would be nice if the atheist had enough sense to realize that there is a creator. Instead of just letting everything flop. Things don't happen. You know, the chances, the mathematical chances. We've got a mathematician in here, Sister Cindy. The chances of the universe flopping and ending up like it is today is absolutely impossible. You have to have more faith to believe in evolution than you do in creation, by far. The chances for creation are pretty strong. The chances for evolution are pretty slim. Evolution, that is pretty slim. To do evil, lihabra. Look at that word, ra. There, ra. That's evil. Sounds evil, doesn't it? Ra. With me, M-O-D. 31 and verse 8. I'm trying to clip along here pretty good. My health hasn't been doing too good, and I want to finish this book before I croak, people. As simple as that. I'm really trying hard. I work every day on Hebrew, I've done volume 4 already. This is volume 3. I've done volume 4. It's ready to be printed, and I'm working on volume 5. All right? Now, if the Lord lets me do the book of Exodus and the book of Jeremiah also, I'm working on them. But I want to finish the book of Genesis. Because what I'm teaching in the book of Genesis, I don't think you're going to hear in any seminary or any place anywhere. And I want it down, I want it recorded, and I want it passed on so it won't die with me. Because my teachers were very valuable in the world, and I'm trying to pass on what they taught to me before I go. When they died, they didn't leave much behind except for me. Here I am. All right. Im. Ko. Yamar. Lekudim. Yeye. Sikarika. We Yalidu. Call. Hatson. Nekudim. Wiem. Ko. Yamar. Akudim. Yeye. Sikarika. We Alidu. Call. Hatzon. Akudim. If thus, imko, if thus, in this manner, if thus so, or thusly, he were to keep on saying, okay, he were to keep on saying, third person masculine, singular, cal, imperfect, if he were to keep on saying, once speckled shall become your wages. And then birthed all flocks, speckled, we am, and if so, he would say, striped ones shall become your wages. Used to birth, all right, all the flocks, striped ones. In other words, whatever is coming out more, that's what he wants. He wants the best. Okay. 31 verse 9. Wayatsel. Elohim. Et. Mikneh. See, Hebrew's not that hard, is it? You just think it's hard. Avikan. Wayatan. Le. Okay. It looks real difficult if you don't have somebody helping you, holding your hand and carrying you through it. But when somebody can stand up here and help you read it, and then explain each word and all the verbs and the nouns to you, it becomes much easier, doesn't it? And he has taken away, he has snatched Elohim, et, sign of direct object, the cattle of your father, and he has given to them to me. Jehovah is the boss of the plains. Jehovah is the Samuel Bishop of the plains. He's the boss of the plains. With him the buck stops, and God has decided whose cattle are who. Every time Laban tried to cheat him, God would turn it around. 31 verse 10. A. Wahi. Biet. Yakim. Hatzon. Wa'esa. Ene. Wa'are. Bakalon. Hene. Ha'atunem. Ha-olim, all, Hatzon, Akudim, Nikodim, Uvirudim. All right. He's talking about his animal aphrodisiacs he was talking about a while ago, before, and became in time, were accustomed to mate, accustomed to come and heat. That's what it said. There's the word Ham right there. The name Ham is right there. Remember Ham, Shem, and Japheth. All right. Hot, warm means to conceive. PL infinitive construct. The flocks, the small sheep and goats. And I raised, okay, my eyes, and I saw in a dream, and behold, that word Bak-Shalom there, Bak-Shalom, Shalom. What is the Greek equivalent to that? You remember what the Greek equivalent to that was? Hypnose. The word hypnotism means to cause to go into a dream. He hypnotized Adam in the Garden of Eden when he put him to sleep and took Eve from his side, or Isha from his side. Okay, he put him to sleep. He hypnotized him. Matter of fact, in many societies in the world, hypnotism was used for an anesthetic when they operated on people. God was the first one to use it. And in hypnotism, God spoke to Pharaoh. God spoke to Jacob many times in dreams. And many people he spoke to in dreams. He even spoke to Abimelech in a dream, didn't he, in a hypnotic trance. So here's what he's talking about, this hypnose, hypnotic trance. And behold, the male goats were going up upon the flocks, striped and speckled and dappled. All right? The boss of the plains at work in Jacob's life. It wasn't magic. It was God that was causing this. 31 and verse 11. Wyomer, Ele, Malak. Look at that word Malak. What is the word for king? Melech. Malak and Melech, remember, they're very close. Malak, all right, is angel. Melech is king. All right? What is the Greek word for angel? Our word comes right out of it. Angelos. Angelos. All right. The angel, Ha Elohim, of the God. The angel of the God. Now just remember, there's all kinds of angels out there. There's probably angels in this room right now. I don't know whether any bad ones around here, but where I am, Satan's not far behind. That's all I got to say. I know he's coming up the draft. That's all I can say. He's someplace. But I know that the Lord's got an angel there too, or the Lord himself is there. I should have been gone a long time ago. Bahalom, Yaakov, Wyomar, Hineni. And he kept on saying unto me, the angel of the Elohim. All right. This base probably is the angel of the Elohim is usually Jesus. All right, that's usually Jesus. In a dream, in a hypnotic trance. Okay? Jacob, Yaakov, and I said, behold me. This God, the angel of God, he calls me by name. How many of you ever had a dream with God in the dream? Or Jesus? Have you ever had a dream with God in the dream? Was it a good dream? Huh? Yeah. Tell me a little bit about it.
Well, when I was pregnant with my second child, it was one that was most effective. I knew it because I was doing God's thing and myself was used it.
Yeah.
And I was prepared for that. I knew it.
Yeah.
I kept telling them,
A problem. Yeah, a problem.
I don't know why God told me.
Yeah. Sometimes the things things happen. Why God does things, I don't know. I was paralyzed one time when I was young. I was 21 years old and I was paralyzed. And I was in the hospital. I'd been in the hospital. They operated on me. They only gave me a 50% chance of living through it. It was a long, drawn-out double laminectomy plus a fusion in my back. The whole bottom of my back is fused. But I was going paralyzed. My nerves were, spinal cord and everything was about to get cut in two. I was hurting oil fields. And I waited too long to get an operation on it because oil fields wouldn't pay for it. They got out of it. You know, back in those days, they'd kill you, and so what? Anyway, I finally had the operation. Well, for, I think about 14 or 15 days, I was on morphine. Every 8 hours they'd give me, or every 6 hours they'd give me a morphine shot. How many of you ever had morphine dreams? Whew. All kind of dreams. You don't know what's real or not, you know. I mean, you dreaming with your eyes wide open. Okay? Well, I had just put my hands and my life and my soul in God's hands. I was saved when I was young. But I got away from God because I didn't have any guidance at all, and I had just put my life back in God's hands, and I was very worried about my children, about them being saved and growing up right. My wife was as wild as a peach orchard boar, and I couldn't do anything with her. Well, anyway, not Marilyn. She's wilder. Wilder than that. Anyway, I was worried about him. And I've been studying about the Lord, and all of us, and I was early in the morning, before daylight, I woke up and I saw Jesus just walking down out of heaven. And I mean, my hair, have your hair ever stood on end? Have you ever been so in shock? The only time I was ever in any more shock than this one, I saw that Bigfoot. Now that was another thing. But I think I was in more shock with this. Come down out of there, and I was laying on this bed. Now this is just a dream, okay? I don't know whether it was real or not or whatever. I can't tell you that. But he came down and just picked me up off the bed like that and held me in his hands like that and put me back down. And he said, "Eamai, Herkamai, Anon," which is a combination of Greek and Latin. Why, I don't know. But it means I am coming soon. That's what it means. I'm coming soon. Well, he is. I've always believed that. I know he's coming back, and how soon is soon? Well, that was 1972. That's a long time ago. He hadn't come back yet, but I know he's coming. And I have tried to live my life like he was coming tomorrow. We may not have what you're going to do for the Lord. You better do it today, because tomorrow may be too late. You may not make it past today. And my students over the years, I preached when I wasn't able to preach, because I had real good examples, high examples for teachers. I saw Dr. Martin Van Buren Canavan. I don't know whether you ever heard of him or not. But I saw that man. He had heart trouble. He died when he was young. He wasn't even 60 years old. He did so much in his short life, it's unbelievable. But the most important thing was what he did in the classroom in the seminary where I went. That man would get out of intensive care, get in his car, and walk and go into that seminary and walk right in and start teaching his classes right out of the hospital. I saw him go into atrial fibrillation right there, and they'd have to haul him off. But he was right there teaching. If God gave him breath, he was there. If God gave him breath, he was in the pulpit. And he preached just like nothing was wrong with him. That's high standards. That's high standards. High standards. Well, the Lord, through His Word, tells us what's going to happen. We know that to be sure. Whether that dream was anything or not, I just know one thing. It scared the daylights out of it. But there's great comfort in it and everything like that. And I didn't know whether it was real or not. But it don't matter whether it's real or not. Because I know the Lord is coming, and I know He's there, and I know He's got me in His hands, regardless. Period. That's for real. More real than that was. Okay? And He said, raise up now your eyes and see all the male goats. Did we read that? Verse 12? See it, or yes or no? Did we read it? All the male goats, and the ones going up upon the flock, and the striped ones speckled, and the dappled ones, because I have seen all which Laban doing to you. I see everything that Laban is doing to you. You're not going to hide anything from the Lord. He's there. He's a witness. He's the boss of the plains. Okay? Jehovah is the boss of the plains. 31 verse 13. Anoki ha'el Bethel. Asher. Mashchakta. Sham. Matsiba. Asher. Nadarta. Le. Sham. Neder. Ata. Gom. Se. Men. Haaretz. Hazot. We. Shuv. El. Eretz. Moladika. I am the God of Bethel. Bethel means what? Bethel? What does it mean? Remember? Bethel. House of God. I am the God. Remember, Jacob. Remember when he met the Lord and he saw the angels ascending and descending, and he had his head on top of that stone, which we talked about here a while back, which the English say is the stone of stone. And all that was in the imperial throne over there. You know, it goes back thousands of years in England. Okay? And Jacob had laid his head on that stone for a pillow that night, and he woke up and he anointed that stone the next morning. Whether the rabbis say he anointed it with semen, so his seed would inherit that promise. Or he could have anointed it with oil, whichever one, okay? And he said, I am the God of Bethel, where you anointed them there, okay? The memorial pillar, the Matzebah, the memorial pillar where you vowed. What did Jacob vow there? What did he vow? What did he vow? Jacob vowed that he would tithe to Jehovah. If God would take care of him, that he would tithe to Jehovah, he would tithe to Jehovah. Tithing goes all the way back to the Garden of Eden. It doesn't start in Moses' time. It goes all the way. This was before Moses' time, you remember. Okay, this is way beyond the law. He said he was going to tithe to me there and vow now, raise up and go out. You raise up and you go out. Masculine, singular, cal imperative. From the land, haaretz. Aretz. What is the two words for land or earth in Hebrew? Adam, okay. Ha-Adam, okay, the earth. And what is the other one? Haaretz. What does the word aretz and Adam, what does the word dam mean? I believe that is, the root of it is blood or red, okay? But it means the chemical composure of the earth. That's what the word Adam means. And the word Eretz means what? the dry earth, the dry ground, opposed to the watery oceans. The earth is dry, the oceans are wet, okay, or water. Ma'im. From the land, the this. And you return unto the land of your birth, where you were born. Okay? 31 verse 14. We're clipping along here. We'll have another volume pretty soon, I think. Wayata'an. Rachel, we Leah. Here is where the beans are spilled. Right here. Wa'atamara mana ma Wa'tamarna. Lo, Ha'od, Lanu, Halek, We Nahala, Be'evet, Avinu. And she answered Rachel and Leah. Both of them answered. Each one of them in time. Third person feminine, singular, cal, while, consecutive, and perfect. They kept on answering one at a time. That's why it's feminine, singular. Each one of them answered in turn. Rachel, what does Rachel mean? You lamb. What about Leah? Beautiful eyes. Eyes that will make someone weak or impatient. She was she had beautiful eyes, but Rachel was beautiful. She had beautiful eyes and she had beautiful everything. All right, she was as beautiful in every way. All right, Leah had beautiful eyes. Eyes that would just slay her lookers. All right, and Leah, and they kept on saying unto him, the still, ha'od, the still, to us, the inheritance, the portion, halak, the portion, and an inheritance, all right, in house of our father, all right. We had an inheritance. We had money. How did the girls dress when they were engaged? They wore their money. They wore their gold and silver coins all over them. Remember when I showed you the film here a while back, you know, with all the coins and everything hanging on them? What happened to those coins? What happened to their dowry? We're going to find out what happened to their dowry. Laban took it. Laban spent it. All right? 31:15. See, you don't normally see this in the... Did it tell you that in the translations? No. All right, let's go look here. Halo, Nakariyot, Nishavnu, Lo, Ki, Mikara Na Nu, Mikaranu, Y Yakol, Gam, Akol, Et, Kaspenu. All right? And not strangers. We are considered strangers. We keep on being. We have completely been considered strangers. First person construct plural nifel, perfect. We have completely been considered strangers, pilgrims, aliens by our Father. As if He didn't care anything about us at all. By Him, because He has sold us. Third person man's singular, cal perfect. And He has devoured. He has kept on devouring our entire dowry. Now, how in the world would Laban devour all of the inheritance and all the money that Jacob has been making for him? How could he do it? Now, the rabbinical writers, again, have a lot of explanations to this. He liked women. Okay? They chased around buying women. It costs a lot of money to buy a woman, a pretty woman especially. Okay, maybe he had 4 or 5 wives, doesn't say anything about it. But he was spending this money somehow. Now, these people are addicted to gambling. Absolutely addicted to gambling. When a spider crawls up a wall, they'll say, I'll bet he goes so far. I bet he turns over here, I bet he turns right, I bet he turns left, and they'll gamble on it. And these people gamble. These people over there, these Arab people today gamble on everything. They'll see two ants fighting on the ground. They say, I bet on the white one. I bet on the red one. I bet on the black one. They see a scorpion out here running around, and they'll throw another scorpion or ant down there with it, and they'll bet on who's going to win. And two dogs will be fighting out there, and say, I get the red one, I get the black one. And they'll bet on that. And they'll fight camels. Camels fight. When they come in mating season, they used to fight camels, and they'd bet on the camel fights, and they bet on the dog fights, they bet on the chicken fights, they bet on everything. Okay? All kinds. Gambling, gambling, gambling. Whatever he was spending it all. He spent all their inheritance. It's all gone. He had wasted all of the money and kept on wasting away all of their money. When they saw a chicken cross the road, will he come back? I bet he doesn't come back. Whatever it was, a cloud going in the sky, I'll bet it gets over here at this period of time or that time, whatever. They'd bet on everything. And Laban was an idolater. He was a demon worshiper. And these girls were infected with it also. And we're going to see that later on. God had to get him out of there. That's simple as that. This was a bad place to be. Kikal. Ha-Asher. Asher. Hat-Sil. Elohim. Ma'avinu. Lanu. Hu. Ulivaninu. We Atah, Kol, Asher, Amar, Elohim, Elika, Aseh. Because all the riches which he has taken away, Elohim from our father, to us it and to our sons, and now all which he has said, Elohim unto you, you keep on doing. You do it. You do it. Everything that Elohim has said to you, you do it. We are going to follow your God, Jacob. We're going to follow your God. But Rachel wasn't finished yet. We'll find that out. Okay? Yagam, Yaakov, Yisa, Het, Banal, Wiet, Nashal, El, Hagamalim. And kept on rising up Jacob. He kept on getting ready. And he placed, Nisa is the root of that, third person master singular cow, while consecutive and perfect. See all those little things down there? That's what they mean. And he kept on placing his sons and his wives upon the camels. He had a bunch of camels too, didn't he? Camels were a sign of wealth. What does the word camel mean? Gift. Camel means gift. The word camel means gift. It's kamalos in Greek. Kamalos. Kamalos. That's it in Greek, right there. The word kamalos, our word camel, comes right out. Okay? Camel. Camel. Page 138 in Davidson, by the way. 31:18. Over 20 years of stuff is being moved. Over 20 years of stuff is being moved. 20 years of accumulation of stuff and animals is being moved. Now, I have a movie called Grass. And that movie, Marion C. Cooper filmed it in the Middle East. And he showed how that these people moved back at this period of time. And I mean to tell you what, it's like moving an army. Jacob had an army. Over 20 years of accumulation. And now he loads up his children and his wives. And all of these women, he had, how many wives did he have? 4. All right, he had 4 wives and a lot of kids. And a lot of servants. Servants had been born to him. He had a lot of servants now. Lots of servants. 20 years of stuff. Cindy, do you collect things? Yeah. The first time I moved from California to Nevada, I had 40 years of stuff I had collected. 40 years of stuff. Well, I'm going to tell you something. And I only kept the good stuff. I didn't keep junk. This is good stuff. I had a lot of stuff to move. Never did get it all moved. Yim hug. Et call miknehu. Wet call riku sho asher rakash mikneh quin ya now asher rakash be Fadon, Aram, Lavo, El Yichik, Abu, Artsah, Canaan. Okay, let's go back and look at this now. We'll finish off here tonight on this verse, I think. And he carried away. Seen the sign of the direct object. That's where all the action is going away. All his cattle. All his cattle. And all his movable property. All his movable property. Of course, land isn't movable, is it? He never had any land over there. All right. All his movable property, which he had acquired. And look at that word. Third person manager, singular, cal, perfect. Domestic cattle. Mikneh. What does that mean there, mikneh? Domestic cattle. Mikneh. This is those big ones, isn't it? Big ones and the little ones. And his acquisitions. Whatever he had acquired and bought. Which he had acquired. Which he had collected and acquired. Third person masculine singular cal perfect. In Padan. 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 What does Padan mean? Padan. Padan. It means a garden. It would come Padan. It means a garden. It means a field. It means a beautiful garden. All right. In this area near Haran, the word Haran means mountains. Usually, where you have beautiful gardens and everything, you have mountains. Let me draw you a little picture here of things. This is the way things work out. Okay? You have high mountains up here, and in the mountains you usually have what? What lands up there in the wintertime? Snow. And there's cracks and fissures in the earth, and it seeps down in these cracks and fissures in the earth, and here's the plain, and here it comes down and goes out like this. Well, down here we talked about those springs that would just come out of the ground. It comes to the surface of the ground, a little crack in the ground, and water starts flowing out. And the water causes moisture, shaddai, in the plain, the moisture in the plain, and we have transpiration. We have waters, drops of waters, mayim, going into the air. This is what you call transpiration. And it evaporates the water up, and then it causes, at a certain temperature inversion, we have moisture or dew every night. So here we have all of this. These are what we call artesian wells or springs. Okay? And so here is what we have. We're talking about an area that's a garden that is watered naturally. Okay? Padan is a place. It's a garden. Okay? It is an area, basically, it's called Tel Fadan, and it's near Haran, near Syria, and the word Aram means Syria. Okay? To come upon Isaac. All right, to come upon Isaac. Isaac's who? That's his father, that's his daddy. What does Yitzchak mean? What does Yitzchak mean? Yitzchak. What? It means laughter, but what else does it mean?
Sensuousness.
What?
Sensuousness.
It means something sensual. It can mean sexual enjoyment. It can mean kissing. It can mean an embrace. It means pleasure. It means pleasure. When you laugh, it's pleasurable, isn't it? I remember one time when I was all depressed. I was crippled up and everything else. And I'll never forget this. And I got in the car and went up to Hillcrest. You know where Hillcrest is in East Bakersfield? I went up there in Hillcrest. And there was a pizza place up there. And I crippled in there. I mean, this is not too long. I've had my back surgery and everything else. And I went in there, and in that place, they were playing Laurel and Hardy movies. And I sat there, and I laughed. It was hurting me to laugh, but it was pleasurable. I laughed, and I laughed, and laughed, and laughed, watching Laurel and Hardy. When my little girl, Dakota, when she is down in the dumps, when she is confused and depressed or sick, she wants me to get out what, Marilyn? Laurel and Hardy. So she can laugh. Laughter. That's what yichik means. Laughter. Laughter. It means pleasure. It means it is sensual also. Laughter is sensual pleasure. Kissing is pleasurable. All of the embrace. We looked at what Ishmael did to Isaac. It was that very same term. He could have sexually molested him, and that's why Sarah got so mad. Okay, that could have been what happened, because that is the root of the word. Okay, well, whatever happened, happened. But that's what the word Ichik means. Ichik, Yichik. His father to the land of Canaan. What does the word Canaan mean? Canaan. We get the word Cain from that, don't we? Cain. Cain was Noah's grandson, wasn't he? All right, Cain was Noah's grandson. And he was the one that was going to be cursed. Cursed. He was going to be cursed, and he would go in and he would settle the land of Canaan. What does the word Cain mean? In Genesis 4 and verse 1, Eve says, I have gotten a man et Jehovah. I have gotten the man et Jehovah. The word gotten there means Cain. Gotten. I have gotten. It means gotten or possession. She thought that she had received the Messiah. She thought the Messiah was born. She thought Jesus, that he was Jesus, the one that was going to become. She thought the Messiah was born because God had promised them a Messiah. And this first child that she has, I have gotten the Messiah. I have gotten Jehovah. This is the one who shall become. And he was a very depressing. I'll tell you what Cain was. Cain, the first Cain, Canaan later on was another one, Canaan. He would be cursed. But the first Cain was an absolute explanation of how that they had betrayed God. That was the fruit of their sin. Cain was the fruit of their sin. All right. We'll get 31 and verse 19 next week. Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. And this is 8 and verse 5, isn't it? You know, the days are just flying, just like they have wings. I hope the Lord gives me enough life to live and to teach all of this book and some other books too. If the days keep flying like this and I just keep up getting up and doing it in spite of it, maybe I will. It's good to have you here tonight. Thank you for enduring those hard seats. I hope God has blessed you with His Word. Brother, would you mind dismissing us in prayer tonight, brother?
Father, we thank you for the lessons tonight. Thank you for all the languages that you have your word translated into, so that we might be more assured that what we're reading on a day-to-day basis is what we should be reading. Lord, thank you for Jim and his translations of Hebrew. We just love your word, and we hope we can take it and pass it on and
go out and do something eternal. And thank you for being here tonight.